Hello everyone, Benji-Sales here, and it's time to take a look back at the month of June now that NPD tracking period is officially over and start to talk about and predict some of the things that we can see in the reporting that is going to be released here soon. So there's quite a bit actually to dive into this month. We saw some things that will definitely impact hardware, like the days of play sale for PlayStation. Xbox ran a whole bunch of promotions as well right around the same time. And they also released the purple Fortnite Xbox One S console. So, some definite hardware moving impact stuff there. E3 happened, which always generates a lot of buzz. And yeah, in terms of software, again, a ton of stuff from Days of Play and Xbox sales, as well as some major new releases like Crash Team Racing and Super Mario Maker 2. So this was actually, a lot more exciting month than last month was. Than May. May was that was a rough one, but June should be a lot more exciting. So first, let's dive into hardware. So I ran a poll on my Twitter, as I do most months. I did not in May because it seemed very obvious to me that Switch was going to be the best-selling platform that month. So I really thought it was kind of a waste of time. But with some of the more interesting things that happened this month, I thought, well, let's bring the poll back and ask what you think was going to be the best-selling platform for the month of June. So actually, 69% of you, again, very strong, believe that Switch will be the best-selling platform. 26% of you think that it will be the PlayStation 4, and a very small 5% of you think that Xbox is going to be able to top the month. So let's look at a few of your comments on here. We had Todd Russell saying that, despite Days of Play helping PlayStation 4, still going for Switch. Switch again, it just seems to be the most common thought amongst people. Stardust over here saying Mario Maker 2 is going to help, Switch take the month. So really, all in all, it just seemed like Switch was the far ahead winner for everyone's thoughts on what would be the top selling platform. So I am going to agree with you. The Nintendo Switch, I believe, will be the top selling platform for the month of June. Let's dive into that a little bit deeper. So I am expecting it up year over year, but I don't think it's going to be up as much as we've been seeing in the last several months. So the console's been up very large double-digit percentages, 20, 30, et cetera, percentages up, right? Really big increases year over year. I think this one's increase is going to be smaller. So it is going to be up year over year still, I think. I don't think you're going to see it fall behind last year this month, but don't expect, some of those really big percentage increases that we saw previously. Yes, it did have Super Mario Maker 2, this month, but that came very, very late. And Switch did pretty strong last June in general anyways. So, I just don't think you're going to see quite as big of a jump as we've been seeing in recent months. But I do think it is going to be the best-selling platform. Now, next up, placing second for the month, I am expecting the PlayStation 4. And I think this one's decrease is actually going to be a bit smaller than what we've been seeing year over year, right? So PS4 has been seeing some significant drops, right? Very, very large. Last month, and the month before, extremely large drops year over year. I think it's going to be smaller this time around. It did have the Days of Play sale. The Pro itself was discounted. Now the regular PS4 wasn't. There was the Days of Play limited edition console, which did seem to sell pretty strongly, right? It was pretty cool looking, but there was a big boost on Pro hardware during that time period. So I do think it'll be down year over year. So I don't expect PS4 to be up, but I think its decrease will be smaller than some of the other months that we've been seeing this year. So overall, I think it's going to be a really strong result for PS4. Considering the year, right? Considering how tough 2019 has been for PlayStation and Xbox, I think this is going to be a pretty good result compared to a lot of the things we've seen. Now, coming in third, I believe, will be the Xbox One, and I think it's going to be somewhat of a similar situation to the PlayStation 4 in that I am expecting it down again. I'm expecting it down, a pretty good amount. I'm expecting the PS4 down a pretty good amount as well, but I don't think you're going to see it go quite into those high 30s, 40%, year over year drops. I don't think you're going to see it go into those crazy territories. I'm thinking more in like the 20-ish percentage year-over-year decrease. So still down year-over-year, but honestly, those kind of numbers, those like 20% drop year over years, I think those are pretty healthy for where we are in the cycle. It's once you start hitting like those high 30s and 40s where it's like, ugh, this is ugly. But I don't think PS4 and Xbox will be down, as hard as they've been. So overall, I'm expecting a pretty good month for June. But between the three of them, Switch up and doing strongly. PS4 and Xbox down, yes, but we're super late in the cycle. So, I think it's going to be pretty good. So, yeah, those are going to be my predictions for hardware. Next up, let's talk about software. Now, I ran a poll again on this, wondering what you thought would be the best-selling game for the month of June. 35% of you think it's going to be Crash Team Racing. 57% of you said Super Mario Maker 2, and 8% of you said something else, right? Like maybe a Mortal Kombat 11, which we saw dominate the charts for the last 2 months, or something along those lines. So, Super Mario Maker 2 seems to be the runaway winner among the poll, though a lot of people are thinking Crash as well, right? 35% is not a small number. Here's again some of your comments and some of your thoughts on that, on what you think would be the best-selling games. Now, I will say this was actually a very hard one for me on my predictions to make, because here's the thing. Crash and Super Mario Maker 2 both sold really well. Like, they did great, okay? And the other thing that makes this difficult is that Mario Maker 2 will have no digital included in its sales, right? Nintendo does not provide digital estimates for their first-party titles to NPD, whereas Crash is going to be on 3 platforms, right? It's going to be on Switch, Xbox, and PS4, and that digital information is going to be shared. Now, if digital was included, I'd be very confident that it's going to be Super Mario Maker 2. But with the digital excluded, it does make it tougher. But here's the thing. Predictions are a roll of the dice, and I'm going to go for it. So I do think Super Mario Maker 2 is going to be the best-selling game for the month of June. It's going to have a higher ASP, average sale price, because it is a $60 game versus a $40 game for Crash. Now, Crash did have a more expensive edition, but also so did Super Mario Maker 2, right? It had that $70 edition that included the 12-month online pass, so which sold very well, right? A big chunk of Mario Maker 2 sales, not the majority, mind you, but a big chunk were that edition with the online pass. So Nintendo is also going to see a very big boost to online subscriptions from this. They did have 10 million subscribers before Mario Maker 2 launched, and that's going to be a lot higher now. So that's going to be my prediction, despite having a week less of tracking and despite not having digital included. I think Super Mario Maker 2 tops the chart, but I'll be honest, won't be shocked if Crash beats it. But I'm going to make Mario Maker 2 my number one prediction. In regards to Crash Team Racing, this performed very, very well again. Don't expect Crash Team Racing long-term to sell the kind of numbers that Insane Trilogy did. It's going to be a huge success still for what it is, but it's not going to be quite as big as the Insanity Trilogy. But I think most people would expect that, right? The original Crash Team Racing spinoff didn't sell as well as the regular platforming games anyways. So I don't think that's a shocker for you. Expect PS4 to be the lead SKU. It sold the most copies for sure. Crash has very strong brand association with that. And then I believe Switch is going to be the second highest platform for Crash, and then third is going to be probably Xbox. That's kind of where I'm seeing the rankings landing out on that. I think Crash is going to come in at number 2, so I think you're going to get Mario Maker 1 or Mario Maker 2 right at number 1, Crash Team Racing slotting in right at number 2. Fantastic results for both. Rounding out the rest of the top 5, I do expect fully to see Mortal Kombat 11 still in your top 5, still performing strongly, still staying in that number 1 spot year to date for 2019. I think there's a very good chance Days Gone as well places in your top 5. It was on sale during Days of Play, and it's been showing very good legs. So I think Days Gone, is still going to be holding in there strong in your top 5. It might slip barely out of it. It might be that like 7 or 6 spot, but I am going to predict it still in your top 5. Rage 2, last month's bigger new release. I expecting a pretty big drop for that, right? It placed, low top 5 last month. I think it'll probably still be in your top 20, but I don't expect it to be like very high in your placing. And something that might be fun to keep an eye out for is going to be if we can see some older PlayStation exclusives re-enter the charts in pretty good positions, right? Spider-Man, some of these types of games, because they were on a significant sale during Days of Play. Keep in mind, a lot of those games are going to be really cheap. So, NPD is a revenue-based chart, so it makes it harder for some of those games to go super high in the chart. But it would be cool, to see some of those big PS4 exclusives that were discounted move up and re-emerge on the charts. Bloodstained was a new release this month, and it seems to have done pretty well for itself for what it is, for its budget. So I think it shows up in your top 20. I don't expect it to be like super high. If it is, that'd be amazing. But, I do expect it to be somewhere in that top 20. And then the other, somewhat big release was Judgment. And I have no idea what to think about that. To be perfectly honest with you, I literally have no idea where that's going to place. That game is, those games are, the Yakuza series is kind of like niche, and it also sells a lot digitally because it's like a really core fan base there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to throw out a guess and say it places top 20 low. But I don't know. That's a total guess there. And yeah, that's most of the big things to talk about in regards to software. That is going to wrap up the June NPD predictions video. Thank you again so much, everyone, for watching. I know I've slowed down a lot on videos recently. I'll be honest with you. You're my audience, and a lot of you keep track and keep up with me on Twitter. I've been really struggling personally. Not with like bad things in my personal life, just with like motivation and confidence issues, right? I've been just having a little bit of those, like, am I worth people following? Am I worth people watching my videos? Am I really helping people out? Is what I'm doing interesting? So, I've slowed down a little bit on some of those things, and I just wanted to say thank you for so much of your support, and I do feel like I'm kind of coming out on the other side again, right? I'm starting to feel a little bit better about what I do, so I'm going to start doing some reviews and stuff on this channel as well. I love playing games, and I talk about sales, primarily, but I love talking about games in general too. So I am going to start uploading reviews. I've got 3 in the pipeline right now. I'm going to be doing the Outer Wilds review. I'm going to be doing Spider-Man PS4 review. That's right, an old game, but I don't always play games day one. I think it'll be kind of fun for maybe some people to see an older, someone's take on a game that they played a while back. So yeah, Outer Wilds review, Spider-Man review, and Super Mario Maker 2 review. I've got all 3 of those in the pipeline. I'm going to try and get to them as quick as I can. I've already beaten the Outer Wilds, so that's good to go. And Super Mario Maker 2, I'm making good progress through the single player and messing a little bit with the building mode. And Spider-Man, I'm rapidly approaching the end of that as well. So I should have all 3 of those reviews up, in the coming weeks, as well as a bunch of other stuff. So I'm back. I'm feeling a lot better, and I'm ready to jump back in again. So anyways, if you don't follow me already on Twitter, make sure you do. I'm at Benji-Sales. If you like the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot. And thank you again so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next video.